Hi, welcome to my New World Spear Tanking Guide. This was initially supposed to be me covering all the weapons that you can tank with, but 2 weapons in I realized how large of a task that would be and how powerful the weapons that I chose were. I don't think I need to go over anymore. But if you'd like to see me tank with any other type of weapons, please let me know in the comments below. I got the idea to use Spear as my first test build when I got the Spear of Outer Isles and a Lazarus run. It's a very tanking oriented spear. The build quickly evolved as I tested different builds and invested armor to complement it. First, I'll cover the talents that I run in this build. The most important ones on the zoner side is going to be evasive maneuvers, and this allows me to have 32 cost dodges whenever I dodge backwards after landing a hit within 2 seconds. Then we've got refreshing reach. This allows me to reduce all my cooldowns by 15% every time I land a heavy attack. And we've got invigorating crits. This restores 20 stamina every time I crit. Strong conditioning. Stamina regeneration rate is increased by 30% when your stamina is below 50%. These two are pretty huge because stamina management is very important to tanking in general. Also helps if you're running Cyclone to have invigorating combo, because this restores additionally 25 stamina every time you hit per target. So you can hit it with 4 enemies around and go back to full. On the Impaler side of the tree, we have refreshing jabs. All spear ability cooldowns are reduced by 10% on the second hit of a light attack chain. Then aggressive maneuvers, the first successful hit of an ability within 2 seconds of dodging reduces all spear cooldowns by 20%. Exposed wounds, crit chance is increased by 15% when attacking a bleeding target, which ties into follow through, gain empower for 20% empower if your skewer crits. So having that 15% increased crit chance is very important whenever you hit skewer. Exacerbating crits means that every time you crit, all of your debuffs last a little bit longer. And then lastly, we've got exploited weakness is going to make you deal 10% increased damage for each debuff on your target. So on the Impaler side, you have a lot of cooldown resets. On the Zoner side, you have a lot of stamina management stuff. Into our abilities, these ones on the Impaler side are the core of the build. On the Zoner side, you can switch between running Cyclone or running Sweep as you prefer. So on the Impaler side, Skewer is going to make you rush forward and skewer your target. So this is going to be like a charge. You actually get to cover a lot of ground with this ability. And it's super useful. The bleed effect on it says bleed deals 20% weapon damage for 1 second every 10 seconds. Doesn't matter. Honestly, it hits for like 300 damage every second. I mean, it's damage, right? So it's not bad, but it's not going to make or break this ability. What makes or breaks this ability is going to be the perk that you can put on it. So Skewer deals 20% increased damage against targets that have full health, and follow through. Obviously, you get into 20% in power, so you personally deal 20% more damage. And then we have Perforate. Perforate is going to be 3 piercing strikes that deal 80% weapon damage and apply rend, reducing the target's damage absorption by 5% for 10 seconds. And now here you have it increased to 10% per strike to targets above 50% health. So anything that's above 50% health is going to have 30% armor rending. 30% is the effective limit on armor rending. So just having this alone, every single person in your group is ignoring 30% of the target's armor. Then we have Impactful Strikes. This one's not as important. It just staggers enemies if you land all 3 hits. It's really nice when you're soloing stuff, and for clearing trash, it's pretty good too. Now that we've covered all of the abilities, we'll move on to your perks. So there are 3 perks that really make this build. The biggest one is going to be right here, Fortifying Perforate. Gain a stack of Fortify, increasing damage absorption by 9.3% for 6 seconds per successful Perforate hit. It doesn't say it in the text here, but this, just like Perforate, stacks only 3 times. So you're not going to get way more than this. You're going to get 27.9% total damage absorptions. Up next, we've got Enfeebling Skewer. So back to where I said Skewer is chosen for this. This is why I take Skewer. it makes it so that you apply a weaken. This is going to make the boss or whatever mob deal 14% less damage. Pretty much 100% uptime, because with all the cooldown resets you're getting, this 14-second cooldown ability is dropped down to something like 6 or 7, and this is an 8-second duration. So when you're doing boss fights, you're constantly hitting this button, you're keeping a 14%. For everybody in the party, they're going to take less damage. And lastly, not that important, we've got Trenchant Rend. So Trenchant Rend is what's going to cover the second half of your perf rate. So like we went over, that perf rate does a total of 30% when the mob is above 50% health. When it drops below 50% health, now you're still doing rending, but it's only 15%. So once the mob gets below 50% health, you start weaving in fully charged heavy attacks. And that just means that you hold down your left click until the attack goes through, because you can do light heavy attacks where you just hold it down long enough to get into the heavy attack animation, and then you release and you'll do a quicker heavy attack. You can't do those. You got to hold it down the whole time, and you'll rip another 14% of their armor off, bringing you up to 29%, which again, just like the Fortify, is good enough. I run that on both of my weapons. The last piece of gear that you can look at is going to be Leeching Cyclone. This is like an honorable mention, because as I was saying, you can choose between Cyclone and running Sweep. If you run Cyclone, I would consider getting a piece of gear with Leeching Cyclone on it. Every hit of Cyclone heals you for 30% weapon damage, and when you're talking 2,500 damage a hit, 30% of that, you're looking at like 800, 900 damage per enemy hit. If you've got a stack of mobs around you, not only are you going to go back to full stamina, you're going to go back to full health, and it's going to push enemies away. It can save your ass if you get pinned in a corner. Pretty good piece of perk to put on armor. I think that was more than enough talking and explaining. So now that you all get the gist of how everything works together, let's see it in motion. This is my company's 3 minute 52 second Zygoramet kill.